Cheryl!
This is the true return to survival horror in the modern day. Fucking beautiful. And who would have thought it would have come to us in the form of an Alien game? A series of games that have had an inconsistent lineup to, say the least.
Contact! Here we go!
Shit shouldn't even be legal. Now, both games and movies are very popular and have their piles of shit we just rather not associate with. Now, I hadn't seen the movie in ages, so I decided to go back and watch it again, and despite some obvious aging, the film holds up so damn well, but I didn't need to tell you that. Maybe sometime in the future. No, I'm just kidding, this is about games! Alien Isolation was developed by the Creative Assembly, who, to my knowledge, has done mostly RTS games and a few others, and was published by Sega. Released October 7th, 2014 on, again, pretty much every platform. Now, I rarely keep up on game news, so when I started to see high praise of this game and people saying, it's the return to survival horror, I was pretty skeptical at first. People like to call anything that's slightly spooky and kinda difficult survival horror. Finally, when the Steam Summer Sale rolled around, I decided to give it a go, and holy shit. Just holy shit. This is what we've been waiting for. A true survival horror game that pulls no punches. My dick is so hard right now. It's so shocking to have a developer that doesn't make games like this coming from out of nowhere to hopefully revitalize survival horror again. Capcom, you and I are done. Take your bullshit excuses about testing the waters with survival Oh. You better not fuck this up. This is how you test the waters. And this is coming from a developer that does RTS games. With the hype out of the way, how does the game hold up on its own? Now, just because it fits in the genre doesn't make it good. It being good makes it good. That's what makes it good. So Alien Isolation takes place 15 years after the original film, starring Ripley's daughter Amanda, who is out to find her mother that disappeared while aboard the Nostromo. After pulling a few strings, Samuel manages to get you aboard the ship that has a flight record of your mother's ship. After boarding, it turns out it's a fucking nightmare. People be dying, people be crying, and people be lying. You piece of shit. Again, I'm not well versed on alien lore, so I'll leave it unbutchered. The story is fine, nothing particularly stands out, but it does its job. The game does drone on for a while, like there were 3 times I thought it was gonna end. The campaign felt overly long, padded with a lot of filler. Now while the game might not have some super gripping story, it's just
so much fun, Chan!
To play. I don't tend to play games for hours on end, but Alien had me hooked for hours at a time. The controls are perfect. I would change absolutely nothing about them, but if you'd like to change them, you have the option. Not having it jump kinda weirds me out in first-person shooters, but it's nothing really. Now, here's where we dissect the beast to see how they managed to do the impossible. Make a survival horror game. Saving. Something that most people don't even think about anymore. Auto-saving is something that is so universal now, for a game not to have it seems inane. First thing that impressed me though was having to manually save my game. Instead of hitting a box that tells the game to save, it's now a task where you have to go to a specific place and initiate yourself, which you must be doing often. This game is not easy, and death is even more of a setback thanks to manual saving. Every death is usually a loss of significant progress, making death a serious thing instead of the jolly way it's often portrayed. It's like the game makes dying scary. Why are space-themed horror games the only ones that even get close to survival horror now? I'd say that's one of my favorite aspects of this game. It makes death scary again. After losing progress a few times, the idea of an encounter becomes that much scarier. And God forbid when you do encounter the alien. These are ridiculously tense moments. This is the part where the sound design shines through. You hear everything the alien does. You can hear it crawling in the vents above you. You hear the heavy thud of it walking around and the snarls it makes when it senses you. The sound is integral to the encounter. The way it moves, sounds, and behaves is very accurate to the film. If there's one thing that kind of bothered me is the alien's footsteps seemed like they were missing a distance increment, like either it sounds far away or really close. Kind of confusing at times. The death scenes add to the fear factor of death. They're excellently portrayed and very unsettling to watch.
Oh. This fucking game.
As for music, it's really accurate to the movie. I think it's great. The music is very sparse, leaving you in an extremely uncomfortable silence. Now, while the alien is very scary, the synthetics take the cake. They're often as scary, if not scarier than the alien. Their uncanny valley faces, the weird things they mutter.
Looking for you is wasting valuable company time. This area is restricted, and I know you're here.
Those ever-staring eyes! They're always following you too. They don't follow a set path constantly, they track the sounds you make and continue to follow you throughout the ship. I shit you not, one is always around. There are also other survivors you encounter that can be friendly but tend to be more aggressive than not. This is usually when the weapons get used. So you've got a lot stacked against your odds. So how does one defend themselves? The game has excellent combat, balanced perfectly to heighten the sense of your vulnerability. Most items you have at your disposal are non-lethal distractions instead of actual killing tools. The actual weapons you do get are hard to use. You don't always have your weapon out and pointing forward. You have to draw your weapon, then wait a solid second for your aim to focus in. This is fucking genius. You do get the classic flamethrower, which can be helpful against the alien, but it's only temporary as you can't kill the alien. Even then, ammo is scarce as fuck. Also, the shotgun in this game looks way too cool to have such shitty destruction power. It doesn't even knock these synthetic cunts back. The stealth is pretty good for the most part and is super tense at moments when narrowly escaping an enemy. I cannot tell you how many times I was hiding in a locker and nearly shitting myself when I thought it found me. There is a crafting system which just I generally don't enjoy crafting systems in games, and here is no different. It's pretty simple and really doesn't produce many useful items. Noisemakers, flashbangs. The most useful items were health kits and pipe bombs. These items might have been super effective, but I rarely needed to use them. The crafting just feels like an unnecessary addition. It doesn't detract, it's just there. Now the atmosphere is fucking fantastic. They nailed the look and feel of the original film. The lighting looks incredible, and damn, some of the corridors look ominous as hell. The game looks and runs well. Really well optimized too for anyone that plays PC. As for ports, they all play good and they all look good. Overall, at the end of the day, I'd say this is a good game. Sure, it's not great, it has some issues, like the story could have been cut down a good amount, and they could have eased up on the Metroid-esque backtracking. Other than that though, I'd say it was an enjoyable experience, and in the scope of things, it was a pretty decent survival horror game. Hopefully though, it'll cause other developers to experiment with survival horror. I'm just kidding, that ain't gonna happen. But I'd say check it out. It's not a great game, but it's a pretty good game. So, until next time, we're still lost in space. Is it Doom 3? Is it Dead Space? Nah, it's Martian garbage.
This is Kenzo Uji. Enigma Mission Log, 9:12 a.m., June 17th,
Boring.
2019.